Biraz sarkma yaşayacağız gibi ama herhalde bundan çok rahatsız olan yok diye düşünüyorum. Sonra günün devamında yerli üzümden şaraplar tatmaya gideceğiz filan. Orada da hem biraz rahatlamış hem de daha günü özetleyen bir ortamda bulunacağız. Hızlıca başlamak istiyorum. Gelen arkadaşlar da yavaş yavaş katılır. Şimdi bu bölümde Old Wine üzerine çok değerli iki kişiyi davet edeceğim. Önce bir söz okumak istiyorum. Old Wine Conference'ın web sitesinde yazıyor. Değişiklik yapmak sadece tartışmayla değil, eylemle ilgilidir. Sahada fark yaratmayı amaçlıyoruz. Bence muhteşem bir söz ve eyleme geçirmek konusunda başarılı işlere imza atan değerli arkadaşım Umay Çeviker'i önce davet ediyorum. Bir Old Wine Türkiye ambasadörü, elçimiz. Önce o kısa bir sunum yapacak. Daha sonra da Serhabit'i sahneye davet edecek. Öncelikle Umay. Beraber çıkıyoruz.
Çok teşekkürler Sabiha. Çok kısa zamanda Seray'a söz vereceğim. Sözü de çok fazla uzatmayacağım ama bu seansta eski bağlar ya da yaşlı bağları konuşacağız. Terim, tabir çoğunuzun yabancı olmadığı bir tabir aslında. Özellikle Fransa'dan, İtalya'dan ya da İspanya'dan gelen şarapların şişelerinde eğer üzümler eski bağlardan gelmişse bu ibareyi çok çok uzun bir zamandır görüyoruz. Ama neyin tehlikede olduğu, eski bağların neden kıymetli olduğu anlamında bir çaba 2010'lu yılların ortalarında birçok şeye öncülük etmiş olan Jancis Robinson ve ekibi tarafından ilk kez dile getiriliyor. Ve o zamandan beri yaklaşık 10 yıldır bununla ilgili artan bir bilinç var. Hatta aynı web sitesinde dünyanın her yerinde üzüm yetiştirilen eski bağların kaydına yönelik de bir çalışma var. Fakat bugün eğer dünya üzerinde eski bağlarla ilgili en ilgili kişiden konuyu dinlemek istiyorsanız zaten sözü az sonra sevgili Seray'a vereceğim. Kendisiyle bir yılı aşkın bir süredir Old Wine Conference'da birlikte çalışıyoruz. Ama onun konuşmasına en azından bir altlık yaratabilmek için Türkiye'deki durumu ve neyin aslında tehlikede olduğunu göstermek için çok kısa 3 slaytlık bir sunum hazırladım. Arkasından da çok farklı bölgelerdeki eski asmalara, eski bağlara işaret eden bazı fotoğraflar göstermek istiyorum. İlk seansta duyduk, dünyanın 5. büyük bağ alanına sahibiz. Bu gurur duyduğumuz bir konu başlığı. Ama Türkiye'de modern şarapçılığın başlangıcı olan 1990'ı ele alırsak, 1990 yılında 580 bin hektar bağ alanına sahipken bugün 2021 verilerine göre 149 bin hektarlık kısmını kaybetmiş durumdayız. Artık 431 bin hektar bağ alanımız var ve tahmin edebileceğiniz gibi kaybedilmiş bağların çok büyük çoğunluğu yerel üzümlere ve yaşlı bağlara ait. Aslında iki haritayı kıyaslarsanız ölçek aynı. Yani kaybettiğimiz oranı gösteriyor. Bu oranda küçülmüş Türkiye'deki bağlar ve şöyle dramatik rakamlar var. Kaybettiğimiz 149 bin hektar dünyanın 6. büyük şarap üreticisi Avustralya'nın toplam bağ alanına eşit. Ya da sadece son 4 yılda 2016 ile elimizdeki son verilerin olduğu 2020 yılına kadar kaybettiğimiz bağ alanı dünyanın yine çok önemli üreticilerinden Yeni Zelanda'nın toplam bağ alanına eşit. Ve arada gördüğünüz bütün bu ülkelerin, örneğin bu ülkelerin toplam bağ alanlarının en azından birkaç katı, bazısının 2 katı, bazısının 4 katı son 30 yılda kaybettiğimiz bağ alanları. Tabii bağlamlarını kaybederken şaraplık üzümleri illa kaybetmiyoruz. Çünkü biz bunları farklı amaçlarla kullanıyoruz. Yine çok hızlı geçmek istiyorum ama bu sayede zaten olan biten birçok şeyden sonra hala bu üzümleri, bu bağları sahiplenebilmişiz. Fakat biz üzümlerimizin %56'sını yiyoruz, üzüm suyu yapıyoruz, pekmeze dönüştürüyoruz. %41'iyle dünya lideri olduğumuz kurutmalık üzüm üretiyoruz. Sadece %3'ünü şarap yapımında kullanıyoruz. Bir başka dramatik figür, diğer ülkelerdeki oran. Örneğin Fransa'da ve Almanya'da yetiştirilen üzümlerin neredeyse %100'e yakını şarap yapımında kullanılıyor. İspanya'da, İtalya'da çok farklı rakamlar yok. Dolayısıyla bir şeyler tehlikede, ciddi anlamda tehlikede. O yüzden dikkat çekmek, özellikle eski bağların potansiyellerini anlamak ve onlara işaret etmek zorundayız. Çok kısa neyin tehlikede olduğunu göstermek için 12 tane farklı bölgeden çekilmiş fotoğrafı çok hızlı göstermek istiyorum. Her zaman bir field blend olarak yer alan Patkara, Dimrit, Gök, Aküzüm bağları Toros Dağları'nda, Mersin'de, kimileri 200 yaşına yakın bu bağların. Sevgili Murat Yankı'nın bana yıllar önce gönderdiği ve sürekli kullandığım slaytlar bunlar. Kapadokya'daki yaşlı emir bağları. Van Erciş'te şu anahtar haritada görebilirsiniz nerede olduğunu. Hemen Van Gölü'nün kuzey-doğu kıyılarında 1800 metre irtifadaki yaşlı Erciş Karası bağları. Udo'nun hepimize tanıttığı yine birçoğu field blend olarak dikilmiş Hasan Dağı eteklerindeki yaşlı bağlar. Çanakkale Bayramiç, Karasakız bağları belki Türkiye'de en ciddi tehlike altında olan bölge. Sungurlu Çorum 5-6 hektar kaldığı düşünülüyor bütün Türkiye'de. Sungurlu bağları. Sevgili Çağlar Bozça daha detaylı anlatacaktır. Onun sağladığı slaytlar ve onun üzüm topladığı ağaca tırmanan asmalardan gelen üzümler. Bodrum'da, Muğla'da, hiç beklemediğiniz coğrafyalarda. Game bağları, biz bunları da miras olarak görüyoruz çünkü 1950'lerden sonra dikilmiş yaşlı bağlar bunlar. Burada görebilirsiniz. Gameler, sensolar, semiyonlar, Tekirdağ'da, Güzelköy'de. Gaziantep İslahiye'de, benim bir sene öncesine kadar Gaziantep'li olmama rağmen varlığından haberdar olmadığım Halta'nın bağları, Horoz karısı ve hatun parmağı üzümleri ya da Antep karısı ve hatun parmağı üzümleri var ve şarap yapımında kullanılacak, çok yakında tatmaya başlayacağız. Son olarak da Konya'da Beyşehir Gölü'nün kuzeydoğu kıyılarındaki Hüyük bağları, yine birçok yerel üzümün bulunduğu, daha önce duymadığımız, sağ olsun Dursun Bey'in ve Mustafa Çamlıca'nın sayesinde haberdar olduğumuz yaşlı bağlar. Seray'la 2010 yılında ilk kez Türkiye'ye geldiğinde tanışmıştık ve o zamandan beri ne kadar üretken, ne kadar çalışkan bir Master of Wine olduğunu hepimiz biliyoruz. Bu sabah baktım 498 kişiye Master of Wine unvanı verilmiş bugüne kadar. Şu anda da 419 tane Master of Wine var ama kendisini bir amaca adamış ve bütün işlerini, çalışmalarını bu amaç için sürdüren çok fazla yok diyebiliyorum. Büyük bir gururla kendisini davet ediyorum.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Umay. And thank you, Sabiha, for inviting me here today. It's a great pleasure. What I'm going to do is talk to you about the Old Vine Conference, and then I would like to relate it to the current sort of movement for old vine heritage in Turkey, and then to talk with Umay about how you can use this to really move forward with the need to really build a category, not just for old vines, but for Turkish wine or Anatolian wine. And I do think that there's something about the nexus around old vine viticulture and vineyards, which, because it is so cultural, is really relevant to talking about Turkish wine, because I think that the wine culture in Turkey, the appreciation of wine here, is one of the most sophisticated I've encountered. So although you have a relatively small wine industry, I think you have the potential to have great impact in how you influence the global discourse around wine. So a little bit about the Old Vine Conference. I will just pop back to the beginning. So we founded the Old Vine Conference just over a year ago. It was a lockdown project. And it's fair to say that it took off more than I had originally expected. I founded it because I was being approached by winemakers and groups of winemakers who wanted to promote their old vines and were finding it really difficult. And we realized it was because although so many people in wine, some of the most inspiring winemakers and the greatest wines in the world are powered by these heritage vineyards, there was no kind of recognition of a category. You couldn't go anywhere in a shop and see, you know, heritage vineyards wines, apart from in one country, South Africa. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So we founded this as a network. It's a non-profit. My day job is actually running a marketing and events and PR agency for wine regions. But it was a non-profit in lockdown, and everything happened online. And from the beginning, our goal was to create a category for adding value into old vine vineyards. And the reason you have to add the value is because the economics of old vine viticulture are broken, because these are vineyards that require, first of all, a lot of manual tending, but also wise tending. These are vineyards that are really rooted in a kind of agricultural wisdom that is really overdue a restoration of dignity and respect. And what happens is that these vineyards are lost because they cannot be made to pay. So the aim of creating a category is so that we can make explicit all the attributes of these old vine vineyards, culturally, ecologically, and qualitatively. So why old vines? In many cases, old vines are responsible for really transcendent quality wines of great vitality. They are also rooted in a kind of a whole culture of wine that is a kind of informed by tradition, but empowered by tradition. And this gives them a great sense of authenticity, distinctiveness, and typicity that really is what I think makes wine really special. It's what sort of forms wine from a consumable product to a cultural product. And the other reason for old vines is that so many of the great old vine practitioners are using old vines for their genetic value. And we know that biodiversity, in fact, diversity in any field gives us resilience. And it also gives us so many more potential points of contact with our market and with each other. And what we are seeing when we work with old vine projects around the world, and I've been talking to Umay about this, about the Turkish vineyards as well, is we do not know what resources we need genetically to prepare for the future. But for example, I've just been a week in Georgia where research is ongoing into their over 400 indigenous varieties, and they are collaborating with a breeder of new peewee varieties. Peewees are this generation of varieties that are being bred to be naturally resistant to disease, and therefore to reduce the requirement for chemical inputs in viticulture. I mean, and I find this very beautiful, that some of the oldest varieties in the world could actually give us a new generation of ecologically beneficial varieties in the world. And we do not know what we will need, but we do know that we have to be prepared, because the requirement for biodiversity is so strong. And I think the other aspect of talking about heritage vineyards and old wines is that it takes wine into the broader conversation around regenerative agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and the kind of the ecological urgency, and it places wine alongside other movements such as landrace varieties, heritage varieties of wheat, of cattle, and so on, and it really broadens the audience for this kind of wine. So these are our aims. Yes, the relevance of these old vines, the quality of wine they produce, preserving agricultural heritage. What we hear from many of our members and partner wineries is that when they start to pay attention to these old vines, for example, in South Africa, the restoration of these old vineyards, the increase in price that was being paid to the grape growers because these vines were being treated with respect and bottled as a premium wine, literally it meant they could send their child to college. So it's a really big conversation. So by talking about old vines, you kind of enter a bigger conversation, and I think that's really important for Turkey, because actually, although your wine industry, such as we saw at the beginning with when we heard about the oh, that's our team, but that's right, we can talk about that later. These are our regional ambassadors. Umay is one of our regional ambassadors. But when you broaden the conversation, you make your impact so much wider. And what struck me when I was listening to some of the earlier conversations, the conversation on the economics, is I think that Turkish producers are really hard on themselves. You know, you have this great heritage, and you can actually, you can be bigger than you are through the power of your idea and your culture. And then everything else can basically catch up. So we launched in March 2021. We started with an online conference. I had to extend my Zoom webinar license twice. We had such a big registration. We had great speakers from all over the world. Our website, by the way, is oldvines.org. You can have a look and see, you can see the previous conferences and see the conversations that are going on around old vines. And what we've discovered is that there is something about talking about old vines that cracks open the agricultural and the cultural heart of wine in a way that is very evocative and not technically intimidating to a wide audience. Since then, we've really grown. We remain a non-profit. We are looking, by the way, for executive board members to join and help. So anyone here with that kind of interest, let me know. And we found that we had this enormous impact. We collaborated with JancesRobinson.com. We sponsored her wine writing competition. It generated the biggest number of entries that they'd ever received. Umay's entry is really wonderful and online. I recommend you read it. But I run a marketing agency. I have never seen a response like this in terms of the power of the old vine story. We then were able to attract sponsors and supporters, so the London Wine Fair, the International Wine and Spirits competition, producer sponsors. We call them sponsors, but actually we structure as a member network. So everybody who wants to join can join, and we structure the levy according to ability to pay. That's another thing I would say for Wines of Turkey. Bear that in mind, because you need everybody in this ecosystem. You need the small, quirky, tiny guys doing crazy things with 10 rows of vines, and you need the bigger players. For example, we were able to connect González Bias, one of the largest wine groups in the world, with smaller producers in Spain, González Bias are now sponsoring a project they call Vineyard Angels, where they just go and rescue old vineyards, and then they work out later how they're going to commercialize it, if at all. But they've now been able to basically come together and create this network. And I think the network effect is also shown in the power of this organization. So this amazing initiative that Sabiha has initiated, the network is what's important. All the regulation and structure can come afterwards. We've also been delighted to be told that the OIV, the International Organization for Vine and Wine, has set up a cross-party working group to research the value of old vine stock for the global wine industry. And this is a more regulatory sort of approach. They're essentially looking at codifying and acknowledging the value of old vines. But we leave that to them because they're the bureaucrats. But essentially what will come out of that process is probably a harmonized classification of what constitutes old vines. And that is important, but we didn't have to start with that. You start with the message and by highlighting the individual people who are doing so much. These are it was all done honestly on a shoestring, but we found it's generated so much support. So we have a lot of support in kind from trade. So we integrate trade supporters who donate their venues and their time. We also have integrated media partners, as well as, I say, producers. And we also have individual members. So we have individual members who pay a small levy and who support our work. We hold stakeholder workshops online. I hope Umay, you can join us at the next one in November. And these are offline kind of information sharing opportunities. It's Chatham House rules. And as a result of one of these workshops, we were able to connect producers who were in Spain, who were concerned about their low yields, with some of the most forward-thinking and dynamic practitioners in new pruning techniques, who are basically saying, look, you've got to rethink the whole way you imagine a vine. You know, the vine's a liana, she wants to climb and to grow, and essentially one of the reasons for apparently uneconomic yields in old vines is, guess what? We are thinking all wrong about the way we prune. So these are the kinds of developments and connections that happen. And what we see is that we had amazing practitioners in Chile, Spain, South Africa, Bolivia, Italy, Portugal. They didn't know about each other. And again, I think it's about the power of the network, and you can do a lot with them with network. We also are launching various other initiatives. We did a masterclass at the London Wine Fair, which was fully booked. And as a result of these initiatives, we now have importers, traders on board. So I think we are now moving to a point where we will start to have old vines as a category. I think it seems to be emerging that people are calling them like heritage vineyards. And I've done a lot of marketing and communication with groups of individuals who come together as a collective. And my biggest lesson is to give them the freedom for their individual needs, but to find something that's unifying enough so that what they do in the market can be seen as a kind of category by those who are basically up for buying and drinking these wines. And this is why I think wine is a cultural product, because it's created, the idea of it is created between the people who make it and those who drink it, and it's a constant feedback loop. And I would say that's also something that, that you can draw on for the broader promotion of Turkish wine. We are going to be having an old vine supplier directory that's being sponsored by PIX, and that's an expansion of Jancis Robinson's Old Vine Registry. Our final conference, our conference will be both online and in person in October this year, and again, more details on the website. And I think that there are so many angles for Turkish wine. But I think that it's important to realize that you have your kind of vertical communication, but with your horizontal communications, where you align yourself with, for example, Qvevri makers of the world. I know there are Qvevri winemakers in Turkey, and people making wine in Qvevri in Turkey, and we'll be hearing from them later. But also to align yourselves with old vine and heritage vineyard protectors around the world it's just another horizontal slice through your story. And the more you have this matrix, you know, your vertical message, here we are, wines of Anatolia, wines of Turkey, and then your horizontal messages, and these are all the nuances about us. The more people you can reach and engage. This is just a little bit about our organisational structure, but I just want to sort of finish really by, all of this is on our website. I just want to finish really by saying that I think, so my degree was in classics, so, you know, the ancient world, Latin and Greek, so it's always a thrill for me to come to Turkey. And there is a vocation in the land, in nature, which is bigger than us in our human span. And this, I think, is why we find this so inspiring. You know, we heard from the presentation of the on Syrian, is that right? Yes. You know, these borders shift. I've just come back from Georgia, where, you know, I know there are people who are now in Turkey who are essentially making wine in a Georgian tradition. Borders shift, politics shift, sometimes in very uncomfortable ways, but the land has what the land has, and the only thing really bigger than that is an idea. So I think that when you combine the power of nature, which you shepherd and steward with the utmost care, but also practicality, with culture. We talked about heritage, but actually I think heritage is one form of culture, and there's really nature and culture, I think, are unstoppable forces. And I'd just like to finish with a quote which is from Gustav Mahler, which says, "Tradition is not the worship of ashes, but the preservation of fire." And I think you have a lot of small fires, good small fires, happening all around Turkey. I think that the project with Old Vines that you've started is hugely significant. It may be small in scope, but it's the power of the idea that is really so strong. And I think I've even managed to finish slightly early, but do you want to join me and talk a bit more about Old Vines in Turkey and how you see them playing into the kind of the broader...
Maybe one thing that I missed early on. We just formed a group, a very amateur group, like Heritage Wines of Turkey, among some friends who are relevant. The first thing that we wanted is practicality. We just wanted to be practical. So we applied to the government, the Ministry of Agriculture, just to do some positive discrimination against old wines. We just asked for a seal to be put on the front labels. And it's been 9 months. We are waiting for an appointment just to explain them. Okay. So that's how it is going right now. Yeah.
But could you not do what the South Africans did, which was they created their own seal, they had their charter of regulations,
no, they will just refuse
it.
They will refuse it, yeah. Okay. We have the experience with Levon. Levon, where are you?
Yeah. It's right at the back.
I mean, we have lost 8.5 months to release a patnat, just because of that. I mean, we were refused 4 times due to various reasons. So they will be refusing it. They don't want you to put that on the front label anyway.
Can you put anything you like on the back label?
We can, but...
Just put it on the back. You have to like be guerrilla almost, I would say. This is how vino started in Chile. I mean, apparently Chilean bureaucracy is like really hardcore with wine, and they basically a group of I think 8 of them got together and found a way around it. They found they created a shared charter, you know, detailed enough to be viable and believable, detailed enough to be kind of credible, but loose enough to be workable. Did a little sleight of hand so they could have a shared graphic somewhere, and that's now grown. And then what happened? The regulations now caught up. But I would say what I have learned is if the idea is powerful enough, then you can really find all kinds of ways around it to notify that you are part of a network. And it's really changed my thinking about marketing and collective marketing, actually.
I mean, we try to remain positive all the time.
Yes, I know, it's the Turkish way. Thank you very much.
Çok teşekkür ederim.